Alright everyone, and welcome back. This is Team Leviathan versus Blue Pikachu. The game literally started 10 seconds ago and they just ban, pick, ban. Halberd, what do you think? I have Halberd muted on... Yeah, had Halberd muted on TeamSpeak. Let me start off again, guys. This is Team Leviathan versus Blue Pikachu. The game started like very, like 10 seconds, 20 seconds ago, and both the teams just insta-picked and insta-banned. Extremely fast start. Halberd, what do you think?
Well, certainly both these sides know what they want. It's pretty interesting. We're already seeing another Spirit Breaker coming out as well, so this has been quite a loved hero so far. In these last two matches that we've seen, or last two series that we've seen. Also, you know, I think like, you know, the likes of the Night Stalker, obviously very commonly picked up here as well. I don't think there's many surprises in the draft, as it were. Other than, I think the Witch Doctor is an interesting one. It's potentially something that Blue Pikachu like. But yeah, definitely just flying through the picks so far.
For example, BSJ being a Twitch chat fan favorite, good or bad. So this is going to be very interesting. I do see a lot of love for both of these two teams, for Blue Pikachu as well as for Team Leviathan. No Spirit Breaker. Well, yeah, okay, wait, no, never mind. The Spirit Breaker was actually picked up during the first phase. There is still a Earthshaker here, though, if they actually want to pick him up. But it just seems like both of these two teams, they're going in for a pocket strat. They know exactly what they want to do. They're just picking, they're banning. Night Stalker, this is the first time Night Stalker has been actually first phase banned today so far. So it did leave the Necro in, it did leave the Spirit Breaker in. Both of those heroes being picked up by Blue Pikachu. But Jakira, Enchantress, Faceless Void, are we going to see a Death Prophet? So far, every time there's either been a Death Prophet pick or ban whenever there's a Faceless Void.
Yeah, also, I'm just on the side of Blue Pikachu as well. I'm curious to see where they're getting their physical damage from. At the moment, they don't really have it. And they do have a nice aura from Beastmaster, so it'll be interesting to see what their last pickup here is. But also pretty interesting with the Enchantress pickup as well, with the Faceless Void. So a lot of aggression coming in, and the thing I like about the Enchantress as well is that it is a hero that has a lot of range later on. So even if it's running the more sporty kind of role, which I would expect will be a kind of a greedy 4 or something, the fact remains that she'll be able to deal quite a bit of damage into those chronospheres. And obviously, you know, Jakira and Faceless Void is really one of those like super old school combinations where you just get that, you know, huge amount of damage out from the Magpie, which actually does hurt quite a bit over time. If you ever try standing it for a while, you'll see what happens.
Oh, we saw what happened in the previous game. The Jakira just, I mean, I've always liked the Jakira, but I don't think this is going to be a pause 3 Jakira. But still, Jakira with the Faceless Void, Macropire, Ice Path, Enchantress hitting from outside the Chrono as well. There's actually damage this time that can be done within the Chrono.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for those of you who didn't watch the previous series, which would have been a calamity since it was, of course, Complexity versus EG.
Basically, yeah.
I won't spoiler, but the thing is, I think we agreed very early on that there just wasn't enough damage output coming out from well, I guess this gives away one of the sides to really do the combination justice. But in this case, as you mentioned, you know, you have a lot of damage coming from the Jakira and Magpie, Enchantress as well, just being able to sit on the sidelines, and you know, even Tusk, although you know it's a hero that it can give I wouldn't say consistent damage, more like a little bit of burst damage. It's not particularly huge like the likes of a Lina or a Lion or something like that. It's still just a hero that does like notable damage. Is probably the best way to describe it. Yeah. So there's a lot going into this one, and as for Blue Pikachu as well, like don't write their lineup off at all. I really do think if they get themselves a nice beefy right clicker.
To be honest, this is just a push and a burst damage. Beastmaster Roar into Necro, into Pugna Blast, into Necrophos. They just want to kill you and push a tower. Kill you and push a tower. However, with the Jakira and the Enchantress, there's counter push there as well, but there's more team fight. So a more overall draft coming from Leviathan and BSJ's team. The problem I see here though is, from the side of Blue Pikachu itself, I don't see the synergy here. You have a Spirit Breaker that can gank. What other hero do you have that can actually just jump like across the map, that can gank very well with it? You do have the Beastmaster with the blink in. I don't know, I'm not completely sold on the side of Blue Pikachu. However, the same thing goes for Leviathan. They need a mid hero that can actually match up with the Faceless Void.
Well, as you mentioned, the DP is still in the pool, so certainly something that they can consider. I also want to point out as well, though, just before moving too far off the blue picture draft, is that they do have a significant problem in the sense that they rely quite heavily on their Beastmaster's Raw to ensure a kill. But
A lockdown.
yeah, well, as you
Oh,
yeah.
surprise,
So
surprise.
the problem is that Tusk is great against that kind of behavior, because if he gets himself up and blink dagger, he can literally just jump in, snowball, keep that hero alive, and actually go on the
Yeah.
offensive afterwards. And there is enough follow-up from the likes of Festival where you can join into that fight, or potentially, if he is the target, just turn around and Chronos your team afterwards. So there's a lot going on for them that's right at the moment. And Blue Pikachu really do need to pick up something here that just brings us all together. Something for the Spirit Breaker to gang into, something that can deal the physical damage that they're currently lacking. And
Blue
what's going to
Pikachu
be?
needs lockdown, and they don't have it. They only have one single target lockdown. Sure, Spirit Breaker can sort of fall in that role, but it's a problem, especially up against. If I look at the two teams right now, I see a control team, which is Leviathan. They have Chrono, they have Jakiro Ice Path, they have Tusk, they can split up, and I see team fight from from Leviathan as well as push. So control, team fight, and push versus Blue Pikachu's burst and instant pick off and push. I would prefer the lineup from Leviathan here. It just scales better and works together a lot better. However, Blue Pikachu can be active a lot earlier than Leviathan. As soon as the roar is up, Pugna can put a lot of damage onto towers early on. Beastmaster can put a lot of damage onto towers early on. As soon as Silencer hits 6, he can stop anything from Leviathan. So, can Blue Pikachu actually get ahead or far enough ahead to stop Leviathan from coming back? We saw in the EG versus Cole game, versus Complexity game, EG had the better, well-rounded draft, but Complexity just were relentless. They never left, they never let off. They never took their foot off the gas pedal, and that's what Blue Pikachu has to do here.
I gotta say as well that, often I try to look at these kind of drafts that don't quite get, that don't seem obvious. You look at them and see, like, okay, there's a Pugna, maybe there's a chance that there's something pushy about this draft. But I tend to agree with you. It's also a case of, I feel that Leviathan have a draft that's far easier to execute. It makes perfect sense. You go in with the Chronosphere, you have a DP on the back lines doing a lot of damage, Enchantress can also just start wailing away at people. You get some nice control and support coming from the Tusk. It just all fits together very nicely. Blue Pikachu they may know something we don't, though, right? There may be some synergy here that we're not seeing just yet, something that they're planning to operate in a particular way. The one obvious thing is that you do have a huge amount of pick-off potential with the Beastmaster as well as Necrophos. I mean, if you can get a core hero down just by getting that roar out, waiting on them a little bit, and using the Necrophos ulti, it's obviously a really great way to start a fight. And if it is the likes of the DP, who will be quite significant in a team fight, potentially even catching her with her ultimate up and just encouraging that huge cooldown, you could find yourself in a good position. So it's not like they don't have something that works. It just feels that there's a lot more pressure on them to perform well than Leviathan do. I would honestly say if these two sides played exactly as well as the other, that Leviathan come after the win just on the merit of having the team fight that does more, and that still has arguably better pushing power anyways.
I do agree. Keep in mind, this is the lower bracket, if I'm not mistaken. Let me verify that. Before I say anything further. Let's quickly go through. Yeah. This is the lower bracket, of course, of the North America's qualifier. And whoever loses here drops down. And I mean, or not drops down, drops out. And both of these two teams, they're fighting for the survival. And if I'm not mistaken, whoever wins here will be playing up against VG Gaming Junior or VGJ Storm, or they'll be playing up against EG. And
because that all sounds fun, right?
I wouldn't want to play any of those two teams, to be honest. That is if I'm looking at the bracket correctly.
Well, I mean, look.
Which I've been known to read things completely wrong, so.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think that any side that has to go up against an angry EG is going to have a really hard time. Complexity managing to beat them was something pretty impressive. I think Complexity played well. I think EG probably didn't play as well as they could. But, back onto this game, you always want to keep your chances alive. I mean, Complexity showed that any team can beat any team, really, on the right day. So, perhaps this is a case where either of these sides can go and do something pretty magical. And as you mentioned, I mean, we have Leviathan, who was a direct invite, and we have Blue Pikachu, which is a fan favorite. So both these sides have a lot to play for. At the very least, they get to play for some new fans.
So was Leviathan a direct invite to the Invitational?
I believe so. I will double check that just to make sure I'm not potatoing.
They
were in fact.
I'm just here to shout and make people's ears bleed, basically.
They were, in fact, but Blue Pikachu alongside Immortals with the Open Qualifier winners. So,
I'm not surprised about Immortals though. I mean, Immortals, old MVP Phoenix, was casting them yesterday. To be honest, they just played so well. I really, really enjoy watching them play. Unfortunately, they lost, but it's such entertaining Dota.
Oh yeah, I mean,
probably if I ever get asked to even cast their scrims, I'll say yes.
Fair enough. I think that's one of the great things about Dota at the moment, though, as well, is that, you know, with this large pool of heroes that we're currently seeing being picked up, and additionally with just the playstyles being quite varying, you know, I don't feel like we have a case anymore where, you know, if you think like that Rat Dota stage, or when you have the Death Ball push, you have a lot of different styles of play that can be used. And ooh, Nushai actually finds himself in a pretty interesting position here, going to scout out the smoke, like. Blue Pikachu aren't too keen to do hustle too much, but they know exactly what's going on.
There's a Spirit Breaker here. He runs straight in, and now it's going to be the first tussle coming through. There's a little bit of curse, arcane curse coming through here, just damaging the side of Leviathan. They're just, I mean, who has actually the level 1 kill potential here?
You know,
I
just don't feel like there's. I mean, technically speaking, I think if the Beastmaster was there with his boars, that would probably give them a bit of a fighting chance. But
level
really,
1 boar, okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's not great, right? But so I'd probably give it to Leviathan, and since Beastmaster's not there anyways, like there's not a huge amount they can do. They're like, hopefully that they, I don't know, they charge everyone, and then they all wait for charge to recharge, and then he charges again.
I think if the Pugna was there, definitely, though, you know. Nether Blast does a lot of damage, and it's only a 5-second cooldown. In an early fight like this, you might be able to get off 3 Nether Blasts as well. But good blocks coming in here from AD. So if the names are incorrect, unfortunately, they're not the same as what I have here on my stats. So I'm just going to call them by the names that they are. Sammy Boy and AD. There you go.
Why not? Let's go for it. But... yeah, I mean, this is also quite an interesting tussle here between the DP and the Pugna, for exactly the reason you see why. Pugna does a lot of damage, but the Soul Drain is, of course, very, very handy on the DP as well. And she gives Spirit Siphon, and then she eventually gets to the point where she can also just deal quite a bit of nuke damage herself. Top lane, though, she going for taking quite a bit of damage here, actually. Save, happy to dish out some punishment, but...
And there's the Hadouken going through. Save is in a bit of trouble, but Whiskey, he does get the save up onto save right now. Nushai is also being gone on by Alren, and the first blood. Jenkins. Can someone say Leroy Jenkins coming through? Whiskey might actually be able to... well, Whiskey is going to drop from this one as well. One more hit needed. Jenkins gets the second kill. And, well, he has to run away. He might actually die from this. But good body blocks coming up here from his Satyr. And he turns around. No, he wants to go in for more. Save has to be careful.
And the thing about this, right, is that Assetto Tormentor is a monster this early on. It is just a monster. I mean, that thing is dealing 160 damage, right? Now, comparatively, if you think about most level 1 spells, I think Pugna's probably a little bit higher, but if you take a look at it, he only deals 100 damage.
Pugna only does 100 damage, yeah.
Yeah, and level 2 is 175. So the point is that this thing hurts a lot, and it's actually quite tanky, so it just gets in your face and murders you. So Enchantress just abusing that very early on.
Yeah. I really enjoy offlane Enchantresses, especially up against lineups when where there aren't any lockdown, or there's hardly any lockdown or control. Sure, there's quite a bit of range spam coming through here from Save as well as Whiskey, but without guaranteed lockdown the whole time, Enchantress is actually going to get a lot of farm, and she's going to put a lot of pressure onto the side here of Blue Pikachu.
He picked up a 2-minute phase boots, right?
Oh,
I mean, obviously that also helps you started out with the brown boots. But that is a lot of damage very early on. It just hurts a lot. I mean, you often talk about phase boots being
Are we going to see a kill here onto Alren? There's the Stomp coming through here, and unfortunately, they will not... wait, okay, that was a bit of a delayed eye shots coming through on my end. Seems like there's a bit of lag. Sorry about that one.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, probably the Wilding Ripper. Though it's nice having lane because it does have a nice aura for you. Probably not, he probably would have taken a Satyr Tormentor over it again because it's still just that strong. And the bullying is just awful at this point. I mean, Jenkins is almost level 4, and Whiskey is not even level 3 yet.
think someone should start a Reddit thread pointing at Gaben and say, stop in-game bullying. Just because of Jenkins coming through right now. And is this going to be another? Oh, unfortunately, not another creep kill. That would have been the 7th of the past 2 days. But getting another kill here. 3-0 up for Leviathan. I mean, this Enchantress is going to hit level 6 quickly. She's going to be doing a lot of damage. Look at Whiskey right now as well. This is going to be a carry Enchantress. And I actually don't want to look at the net worth just yet. But having a look at that, she's pretty much even with the bottom lane free farming free farming BSJ up on the Faceless Void.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing as well, is just taking a look at the goal per minute, 331 at the
moment.
moment.
Death Prophet might be in a bit of trouble. There's a 3-man rotation coming through here. Leviathan, they actually want to try and kill the Death Prophet, but Yushai coming through, getting good shots of pushing out the rest of BP, and Blue Pikachu will have to back off. That was a very, how can I say, not costly engagement there from Blue Pikachu, but focusing 3 heroes on mid, not getting a kill, and keeping them on, here on this middle lane is going to leech XP here from the Pugna. Sure, they're moving away, but Sammy Boy, I think he'll be okay with that. Sitting on level 5, he didn't die. 5 minutes is going to be up soon. He'll be able to hit the shrine. He'll be able to get back up to full HP, and the side of Blue Pikachu struggling a bit in regards with experience.
Yeah, well, Snowball coming in once again, going to catch out onto this Pugna in the middle lane, and he immediately starts TPing away, so he should be able to walk this one off, and does manage to do so. But look at top lane, are you kidding me? Okay, nice work there by Whiskey. Just
Jenkins is still charged, he's still going for this.
But that's it.
Okay, I'm going to focus on Jenkins the entire game. How about that?
Just put player perspective on, I think we'll be okay. The thing is as well is that, although he's getting charged there, but what is he going to do at this point? Like, he actually might die. No, it gets on the right side of the ice shots. But what I want to point out before we get too distracted by the fact that this is now no longer defense of the ancients, but it's rather kill Jenkins, stop him from killing us. But the thing is, when you're under so much pressure in your safe lane and you make a mid lane rotation with 3 heroes, you're sacrificing so much space and time trying to find something, trying to find an in, trying to get an advantage somewhere on the map.
And you left top lane, and then top lane died.
Yeah. So when you make that sacrifice and you don't get a kill, and what makes things worse is then the rune goes the way of, I believe it was the Tusk who actually picked up.
Hold on quickly, there's a charge here straight onto the Jakiro right now, another bash as well. This might be the first death for the side of Leviathan, but they are going to get a trade-off. Beastmaster does drop, however, save is here, turning on to BSJ. BSJ gets a Chronosphere up, and that was a bit of a lag once again on my end, but you guys saw that kill happening. BSJ wants to push up for more. Unfortunately, no bashes. It's a 2-for-1, a 2-for-up for the side of Leviathan. And top lane, hold on, Whiskey might be in a bit of trouble. He gets netted up. Jenkins wants to go for the kill. Jenkins is dominating, and he just heals himself up. He's going to turn around. He's not level 6 just yet. Very close. Leviathan, yeah, they are just playing extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much pressure. And the problem, once again, we were literally explaining why rotations that don't pay off are bad when you're in this situation. And then you literally, I wouldn't say feed a Faceless Boy, you did have to use his Chronosphere, but he gets the better of the exchange. Less players commit to the fight, and you get the 2 kills going on to that core. So right now, if you're a Leviathan fan, life's pretty good.
Okay, I see a charge coming down here onto the Death Prophet. Death Prophet being drained up quite a bit here by Pugna, but maybe they should have waited for the charge to actually hit before they engage. And this is going to be the first tier 1 tower falling on the top lane. Jenkins will be getting it. The push potential coming through here from Leviathan is big, and they smoke up instantly. There is a level 6 here on the Enchantress, and they want to go for more. Well, they want to go for a couple of kills here.
Yeah, he is free. He has been shackled to that lane due to that tower. The tower is no longer there. Now he is left to spend his reign of terror upon the rest of the map. And
he also has a siege creep that he picked up, and there you go. They want to go on to 80. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Half HP just from one attack from Enchantress.
I think he did get tagged by the Astrals though, so it was, the Ice Shards. So it wasn't just the impetus, but
I'm getting a bit of spell delay or spell lag coming through here, so you have to be my eyes and ears. However, bottom lane there is an engagement. There's Ice Shots coming through. It does trap off this Spirit Breaker, and now here comes the Jakiro. Does manage to get off a good dual breath, and they want to turn around. They want to actually go for the kill onto the Beastmaster. BSJ has to be a bit careful. Is there any roar? Is there any kind of disable to try and kill him? Unfortunately not. Beastmaster though, he is still tanking a bit of damage, and he might actually drop from this. Oh, one more
I think
tick,
it was
one more
just
tick.
fine.
Oh, 14 HP. Oh, Jenkins. Jenkins wants to go in for a kill. But he's being charged. He's being scouted out. This might actually turn out very well for the side of Blue Pikachu. And oh, he decides to run away. He only has 1 level up. Oh, no, 3 levels up in Untouchable. And look at how slow everyone attacks.
Does he just live here? I think he just lives
He
here.
lives.
Because he has the infused raindrop as well, so that little bit of magic damage they did have on him didn't do a huge amount. They were going to
There's a charge, and unfortunately, this is going to be his death. The Pugner's there, and oh, charge coming through. Not going to do much. He is snowballing in, but up against 4 heroes. What? Yushai? I think he thought he was going to die. Why did he turn? Okay, that's quite interesting. But they are going to at least get the kill onto the Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker does charge. He is trying to at least do what he can. BSJ catches 2 heroes, knowing he has to focus on the one. And there's the Roar coming through as well onto the Death Prophet. Death Prophet does not have his ultimate up, or her ultimate up just yet. They still, however, managed to pick off 2 heroes. And good ulti coming through from BSJ, building up straight into that Lincoln Sphere. And he'll have like a 13, well, okay, let's have a look at this. 10 minutes. He'll probably have like a 15-minute Lincoln Sphere, as well as Treads and Aquila and PMS.
Yeah, the top 3 in the game at the moment are the cores from Leviathan. It's the Holy Grail, right? You want your cores to be above their cores, and then you're happy. But it's really it's the royal flush, if you would, because you do also have your Tusk as well as your Jakiro, head of the Silencer, and the Spirit Breaker. Oh. So right now they're in a fantastic position.
There's a charge coming through right now. Are they actually going to commit? Yeah, Auron's actually jumping straight in. There's the Macro Pie being dropped up here by the Jakiro. The curse is onto 2 of them as well. Jenkins, is he actually going to be able to do anything? He gets slowed up here by the Pugner, and unfortunately he can't actually attack anyone. But here comes the Death Prophet. Death Prophet does have her ultimate this time, and BSJ is coming forward. Manages to get a good lockdown save. Just gets destroyed. Jenkins getting a double kill. He wants to go for more. The long range attacks, that's going to be a triple kill. Is this going to be an ultra? No, he decides to just back off.
Necro?
Well, oh, okay, wait. Necro actually runs in. I'm not quite sure about this. Using his ultimate onto the Death Prophet. Not actually going to do anything, because Death Prophet's just going to heal up completely in a couple of seconds. One thing I want to point out before I forget. Enchantress did not go for Dragon Lance. Just went first item Hood of Defiance, and they cannot kill her. Oh, charge coming through. I mean, this is MVP Phoenix kind of Dota. It's just constant action all over the place. And Auron running into 4 heroes, 5 heroes by himself. BZJ is on a killing spree. The Roar is coming through onto the Death Prophet. Death Prophet will actually drop from this. But will we be able to get any kind of turnaround kills here? Enchantress does not have any mana for her ultis at all. No, BSJ actually got a double kill from that. The global silence is there. He pays with it for his life, or with his life. And Enchantress runs away, is being charged up, but all there from base. I think Enchantress should be okay. Enchantress needs mana though. Enchantress going to die from this, being decrept up right now. AD wants to go in, and there is the stun from Auron. Auron trying to body block, but look at this slow. One thing, if you're up against an Enchantress, don't just like keep on spamming right click, because every click that you do actually procs it. So if you spam like 10 right clicks, on your first right click, you're gonna hit as slow as the Spirit Breaker did there. It's just ridiculous.
So,
yeah,
interesting.
Give us some analysis so people's ears can stop
right?
bleeding.
It's such a slow game, just such a slow game of Dota.
Cap up.
But it was pretty interesting, right? Because that is a very aggressive play from Auron. He charged in very deep. He actually went past 2 heroes deep in to start that fight off, but it actually paid off quite nicely in it, because they actually got a couple kills on the back. But now they are far behind, right? They're sitting at 7.5.
Well, there's a Chronosphere, and this time it actually trapped Enchantress, making sure Enchantress doesn't get the kill. Nearly actually got it on that last hit, and you can continue on talking right now, but we might actually see further engagement, so hold that thought. You can tell me what's going on in a little bit. Death Prophet does have ultimate if she wants to use it, but of course she does have a Spirit Siphon as well as a Silence. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. She just gets destroyed. Backup is there from Nushai. Unfortunately, Nushai is alone. No one else is actually there to help him out, and he's going to drop. Well, Jenkins is actually there. Sorry, I didn't even see Jenkins. The lags and the... Not quite sure what's happening with that. The lags are... Maybe I should quickly try... Albert, what happened?
A lot of fighting.
Okay, getting a bit of lag on your audio. Let's quickly see what's happening here. Sorry about that one.
I'll just keep going for the new one.
Sorry about that one, guys. We should be back shortly. It seems like the game is fine, but TeamSpeak is lagging out just a little bit.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So I'll just show you what's happening here. Let me quickly get that part sorted out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower, Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
Looking for the trade. That they can
Hey
get
there!
from
It seems
Invitational.
like all my audio has been sorted out now.
That's great here. Welcome back, Ritz. And goodbye, Tier 2 Tower.
And goodbye to Tower on bottom lane. Okay, guys, so it seems like we might have missed a little bit. Take us quickly through what's been going on.
Right, well, I mean, just assuming that since you started, well, at the point you had your issues that we missed out on that. Basically, just feel like the Blue Picture have been trying to use the timing window that Leviathan have in their heroes. They obviously have the two really low or long cooldown ultimates in the form of the Death Prophet and the Face of Void, so they tend to be fighting alongside that. But I think before that, we are probably going to see another fight here as the smoke breaks out, and Blue Picture want to get on the offensive, and they're going to find a fight, whether they like it or not.
Well, let's have a look here. They're jumping straight in onto the Enchantress as well. And on the backline, though, Death Prophet is in a bit of trouble, but she does manage to actually get out the BSJ. Did manage to get a good chronosphere off. I missed a bit of that part coming through. It just seems like it's a 1-for-1 standard trade-off right now. There was no global silence cost, so this is just giving Leviathan everything they need, and Ulrin is just going to take another Jenkins smack to the head. He's still alive. He will decide to charge out and actually get out of this one. Is it going to be one right click? No, it's not. But still a 3-for-1 trade-off.
I guess you can call it the Great Escape. But yeah, so Blue Pikachu are
Is it
trying...
is it really that time of the day?
It is. It is, in fact, that time of the day.
Those are my jokes.
You know,
I did
Ritz,
not expect that from you.
I learned the best dad jokes from the best dad joker of them all, so... I'm not a dad yet, but I'm preparing to be, I guess. I'm going to practice on live streams with thousands of spectators.
Okay,
My
that is
friends.
just... Keep the stream PG. Keep the stream PG, and please don't practice being a dad on me.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know how you respond to that in this kind of environment. But yeah, so Blue Picture obviously just trying to play around the ultis a little bit here. They've actually done a good job because I think instead of sitting back and letting that deficit that they were in just increase, they've found themselves in a position where they actually have been taking the fight to Leviathan. Up until that last one was actually looking a lot better. I think they brought it down to about 2k at a stage, which was healthy and looking good for them. But Leviathan maybe just stabilizing a bit and saying, let's not get involved in this ridiculous form of Dota. Let's play some real Dota, slow things down a bit, play to our ulti, play to our strengths. And obviously now we see that they've once again found themselves in a better position.
Okay, let's have a quick look at the net worth right now. 5k in favor of Leviathan, around 9,000 up on BSJ, 8,300 up on the Enchantress, and Jenkins literally has been playing Leroy Jenkins style. 11, 1, and 6.
Yeah, it's been an up and down game, right? I mean, if you look at the actual XP graphs, sorry, the gold graphs, well, you can see that there's actually been a lot of like peaks that Leviathan have got. So they had a couple of good showings of it. So
Oh, there was a charge here onto the Jakiro just as they spoke. So they actually know this. Check the entire team of Blue Pikachu. They're just on the retreat. They're running back as fast as possible.
yeah, you really want to take this fight. I mean, this is that weird conundrum you find yourself in, right? Because Leviathan have these big LTs. You don't want to fight into them, right? So you avoid them when they have the LTs. But then Leviathan
Well,
gets the full
Enchantress
map.
has his ult or her ulti the whole time. That's the problem. And she is hitting like a truck.
I mean, I hear you, and she's certainly been a force to be reckoned with in this game. Jenkins has played a pretty fantastic game, just applying pressure and then off lane position. When you get that much of an off laner, you really your team owes it to you to win, right? So the pressure's on Leviathan, but yeah, I mean, this is like the problem they find themselves in, that Leviathan can kind of just walk around and like, well, I guess now we'll fight, and they haven't really had much option to other than just soak it up. So we'll see how they manage to defend on their high ground now.
Well, the Lincoln's actually getting popped here onto the Faceless Void. Faceless Void backing up a little bit. Keep in mind, this time they do have a global silence to try and take this fight. But where's the lockdown coming through here from Blue Pikachu? That's what we spoke about during the drafting phase as well. And currently they can't really do anything up against this Faceless Void. Here comes the charge. It actually does hit onto one here. Death Prophet is gone upon, and the global silence is there as well. Can they actually do enough to kill the Death Prophet though? Death Prophet's still alive, and there you go. A big Chronosphere just trapping off 2 heroes there for the side of Blue Pikachu. But the Spirit Breaker is going to be the first one to fall, and the amount of damage that's being pushed out here from Jenkins is just ridiculous. Double kill up here for Sammy Boy. Sammy Boy doesn't have his ulti anymore, but back up to full HP. And that's a 3-for-1 trade-off. We spoke about Blue Pikachu actually needing to take control of this game early on and steamroll. Unfortunately, I think Leviathan heard that on stream and said, no, they're going to be the ones that steamrolls.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there were phases that looked pretty good, but I think we're reaching that point now where you're reaching the point of no return. Nice charge, though. Connects with 3. Actually could bring down the DP here, but does get caught out by the time lock.
Well,
Sauron and friends going to have to settle for, well, nothing, actually. They lose another.
like I said, I'm just following Jenkins right now. I think that's the best here
I think you
to
want to
do.
follow the Spirit Breaker, too.
Well,
He's in
I
there.
can follow
He's
on Jenkins and just watch him destroy the Spirit Breaker. Oh no, one more hit needed. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. And this time, Jenkins might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. But there's no roar just yet here up here for the Beastmaster. He is going to blink forward, I think, in 3 seconds. 2, 1, and get the roar. Or is this just pushing up a little bit too far? He does scout out Jenkins. There's the hole coming through. And the roar. The roar hits as well as Enchantress. This is going to be Enchantress's second death. 8 kill streak ended. 735 gold going the going the way of the Pugna. So I think this side of Leviathan, I mean, they were fighting all the way over here the whole time instead of just getting the racks.
It's actually a really solid defense. I mean, you're fighting into an Aegis. You know, once again, we've spoken about the big cooldown ultis all available there. They walked into an exorcism, they had to, and they just lost a tier 3 tower for it. So under the circumstances, they've done a very good job at that defense, and they actually picked up a couple of kills for their efforts as well. They're still in a huge hole, and I think they'd have to do, I don't know, like really just like try to get Leviathan back into that phase where they were fighting, you know, in these messy, scrappy team fights, as opposed to just allowing them to just barrel down lane and pick their fights for them. Because, you know,
the problem is they don't have any map control. How can they push out? You know, how can the side of Blue Pikachu actually push out of their base when, in most cases, Leviathan they're just moving together. They can't get a pick off at all, even when they try.
Yeah, you see, that's one of the big things. You can see that the Faceless Void, he's pretty happy to rotate around by himself, because other than the Primal Roar, there's not a huge amount that can lock him down and really cause a massive threat to him. And, well, whew.
Yeah, the thing is, PSJ just really wants to go. Is he going to... Oh, the Chronosphere catching out Pugna. And here comes Jenkins as well. Actually, it's going to be the Jakiro getting that kill. With the Pugna down, no buyback. Yeah, they'll be able to push fast, but Pugna, luckily, the side of Blue Pikachu actually know what they're doing right now. They're playing the low or the low death respawn timer strat.
Okay, but what they really need to do now is that they know that they have, by the time that the Pugna respawns, about a minute to get something done. So what they need to do is hopefully smoke up immediately or find another way in where they can disrupt the pushes. Because even if you can just pick up 1 or 2 of their cores, obviously that in itself is a success. But the biggest thing is that it actually buys you a bit of time. Where the time leads, I'm not certain, right? Because sure, you have the likes of an Necrophos that once he finishes up his Radiance, which isn't too far away from, it can be quite annoying to deal with. But you're still going late up against the likes of Faceless Void, and as well as this Enchantress that is like really, really strong at this point. So you buy time because it's your best bet, but I mean they do exactly that. They split
As
up
usual,
and try
we've
to find
been
a kill.
seeing this aura just running in all the time, like going extremely deep. Trying to do a little bit of damage here up until the top, but here's the turnaround, and it's going to be Jenkins doing so much damage. He's just hitting him. Look how much damage it can actually output. The problem is there's been no global silence, and here comes the Death Prophet. Ulti has been used, and they're trying to turn around. Is there a Chronosphere up? No Chronosphere, but they don't need a Chronosphere. The Death Prophet's just doing as much damage as they need to. Necro just gets instantly obliterated right now. And they want to go in for more kills. Save might be in a bit of trouble. He is being slowed up. Look at the amount of damage, taking around just under a quarter HP from one attack.
It only gets worse because there's also a Blink Dagger coming up in line, so you can get you
There's
that one
a
massive
Ice Path as well as a Macro Fire. Keep that in mind. And the Pugna just dies, burns, and freezes all at the same time. And this is going to be yet another tier 3 tower going the way of Leviathan. They don't take towers as fast as they would like without the ulti up from the Death Prophet and a couple of creeps from the Enchantress, but they're okay with this.
Yeah, I mean...
They have a Jakiro, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they're... Well, there's the Chrono again.
Yeah, you can take this one.
Yeah.
Never mind. You're too late.
Yeah.
You have to be quicker on that hype, man.
I mean...
I
feel
mean...
like it was quite... I wouldn't say hypey that moment. I would say maybe more of admin, you know. You know what I need to do today?
Chronosphere used, he's dead.
Emails, maybe maybe go to the shop, buy myself some lunch. Don't forget your pets, right? Oh, and you know, complete the kill under that Chronosphere.
Oh, GG being called here right now, just as you're busy talking about pets. And don't forget, anyone, GG's. Let's see what happens in game number 2 here. Leviathan, to be honest, I know I missed like around 4 minutes of the game when the internet went down, but this just seemed to be Enchantress gaming. Sure, BSJ, I mean, he had free farm, he could do whatever he wanted, but it all came down to Enchantress, the start the Enchantress had, and everything the Enchantress just... Those weren't just normal attacks. Those were nukes on every single one of those attacks you're throwing at the side of Blue Pikachu.
I mean, I think that's a very fair assessment of the situation. You just got way too strong, and I think it's very hard to win a game when your safe lane is put under that much pressure and an off lane has that kind of start. I mean, it's one thing when you have a tri lane, you're occupying that space with a lot of your own resources, but when your own off lane is able to just do that and free up the map for everyone else, and you have a good time at mid, and your safe lane is just absolutely crushing as far as CS goes, you end up winning a Dota game, and in the end, that was just too much. But that is a little bit positive in some ways, right? Because then you say, like, well, what happens if things are a little bit different? What happens if we don't find ourselves in a position where we're being bullied in our safe lane and we can actually have a fair fight? So I wouldn't write out Blue Pikachu just yet. I want to see them do well with a name like that. And once again, caster's privilege. I'm all in for Blue Pikachu in this next one.
Of course, we always like game 3s, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Without doubt.
Stay tuned. Game number 2 will be up shortly. I'm Reddit. Joining me was Halberd. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be chatting to some of you guys on Twitch chat just now. Stay tuned, and we'll be back. Bye-bye.
Yeah.